My name is Krystal Bowden. I am the director of BBC Storyworks for the Americas, which is the branded content studio of BBC News. So today we spoke at IAB's New Front West event, and what we did was talk about really the efficacy of content marketing. I think a lot of things that are at the top of most brands' minds is ROI when it comes to content. It's sort of that elusive animal of how do we really figure out if the stories we're telling are actually effective at engaging the audience in the right way for that brand. So we have been doing a series of studies which started back in 2016 with the science of engagement. And what we did was we measured the emotional responses to branded content through facial coding technology. And now what we did with the newest installment of our series called The Science of Memory, we're taking that a step further and we're looking at the brain using neuroscience techniques. And we are measuring emotions' impact on memory and how brands can leverage that information to then create long-term memories in consumers, hopefully positive ones for their brands. We do use some really interesting high-tech techniques in order to get to these results, but we've been able to translate that into a few really actionable, easy takeaways for brands that are really easy to implement right away. One of the things that we found is that in terms of the storytelling, it is about finding personal narratives and human truths. That's something that's really going to resonate with people. It immediately gets their emotions flowing and it helps them find that moment of connection. So basically what we did with this technology is we mapped the brain to figure out when it was actually making a memory. And what we found is that there is actually a connection between when an emotion is felt, and we found that through our facial coding technology. We're actually measuring your facial muscle movements to figure out when an emotion is being experienced. We tie that into the mapping of the brain that we're doing to figure out when a memory happens. And that's when we're making that connection between what happens and then the memory happens right after. So BBC News is truly global, and that doesn't just apply to our regular journalism and reporting the news, that applies to our creative studio as well. We have a global presence with storytellers and project managers based around the world. And what we try to do with that global presence is really understand our audiences. We obviously know that every region is different and might be impacted by trends in very different ways. And so we take that into account, but then we also understand the fact that human experience is often universal. And so we really dig into that with the science of memory. And we look at the connection between emotion and memory and what that all means for brands really through our global lens. And it's really the approach that we take to all of our storytelling, whether that be the journalism side or the custom storytelling side.